Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have learned about multiprocessor scheduling and also about real-time scheduling, right? In today's video, we are going to learn about thread scheduling. Before going to learn about thread scheduling, let me explain you the concept of thread. I hope many of you know about threads, but still I will revise that once again for you people. Thread is a basic unit of CPU utilization. That means in your CPU, you'll be having many process, right? So for each and every process, the thread is a basic unit. The thread is a basic part, okay? And every thread has program counter, stack, set of registers and thread ID. A process has a process control block, right? In a process control block, it will be storing all the information, process ID, counter, memory, files and all those things. In the same way, even a thread will also have a program counter. Program counter is nothing but next which thread will be executed. Suppose thread T1 is in execution right now. Then next which thread will be executed. Suppose if T2 is to be executed next, then the program counter will be pointing towards T2, or if T3 is to be executed next, program counter will be pointing towards T3. That is program counter. Okay, next is stack. You already know what is a stack. Stack is nothing but it is used for storing your files, storing memory and all. Next is set of registers. Registers is also same purpose. It is also used for storing the memory, storing the data. Next is thread ID. ID is a mandatory thing for everything. Even human beings have their own ID. That is the reason in order to identify a particular thread, it will be having a thread ID. Okay, this is the concept of thread. In simple words, you can say that a program will have number of process, right? We know that. In the same way, how a program has number of processes, the process also will have number of threads. So to understand threads easily, you can remember this program, like how program has process, in the same way process has threads. Okay, again in threads you have two types of threads, user thread and a kernel thread. Whatever the user mode operations are there, all those will be performed by the user thread. Whatever the kernel mode operations are there, all those will be performed by the kernel thread. Okay, now let's learn about thread scheduling. You are clear about threads now, right? Now, what is thread scheduling? If you have a single thread, then it is easy. You can directly send it to the execution. It will complete its execution and come back, return the output to you. But if you have many threads, like in multiprocessor, you have many process, right? Here, if you have many threads, two or more threads, if you have two or more threads, then you have to schedule those threads also. Like how you schedule the process, in the same way, you have to even schedule the threads also. If you have more threads of control, that means simply threads. If you have more threads, then you can perform more tasks at a simple time, because one thread will perform one task. If you have many threads running parallelly, then you can perform many tasks at a time. That is the reason why you need the concept of multi-threading. Okay, so among all the multiple threads you have, I already said you'll be having two or more threads sometimes. So among all the multiple threads you have to select one thread for the execution. The next another thread. Suppose you have 10 threads, then first you have to execute T1, then T3, then T4, then T2 and all. So this order, deciding this order is nothing but scheduling. Thread scheduling is also same to process scheduling, but in process scheduling you will be scheduling the process. In thread scheduling we will be scheduling the threads. Okay, clear about thread scheduling, right? Now in thread scheduling we'll have some multi-threading models. Now let's see what are the multi-threading models that we have. As I already said you have two types of threads. One is a user thread and another one is a kernel thread. So combined use in some operating system, you'll be having the combination of these two, user threads and kernel threads, both will be combined. Sometimes one user and one kernel, or sometimes more than one user and single kernel, sometimes many users, many kernels, all those combinations will be happening. So we have three combinations, we have three models in multi-threading models. Let us discuss about those three models in detail now. Okay, the first one is one-to-one. In one-to-one model, one user thread, this is a user thread, one user thread will be be connected to one kernel thread. This is the kernel thread, one user and only one kernel. That means one user thread will be handled only by one kernel. That is, whatever the user operation is there, that will be done by using only one kernel thread. One kernel thread will handle only one user. That is about one-to-one model. One kernel, one user. That's it. It cannot handle more than one user. If two users come at a time, this one-to-one model cannot handle. Okay. Second one is many-to-one model. Here you have many user threads connected to only one kernel thread. That means one kernel thread will be handling many user threads. Okay. Here, what is the disadvantage that you have in this model is, this is a disadvantage. The disadvantage is, suppose if this thread, this is a T3 thread, this is T2, this is T1, let's assume. Suppose T3 is being handled by kernel. That means in kernel thread is operating the process, the thread T3. Then T1 and T2 has to go into the blocking state, because one kernel thread can handle only one user thread at a time. So this is the disadvantage. When one thread is in execution, the other thread will enter into the block state. That is the disadvantage that you have in many-to-one model. In many-to-one model, many user threads to a single kernel thread. Okay. The last model that we have is many-to-many model. In many-to-many model, you will be having many user threads and also many kernel threads. You can do any number of combinations. Okay. And when you are choosing this kernel thread, it should be less than or equal to number of user threads you are using. Here you are using 3 user threads, so it should be less than or equal to 3, but not more than 3. Okay, that is the condition that you have to follow in many-to-many model. And if in many-to-one model, if one thread is being used by one kernel thread, then the other two threads has to be in block state. But here you don't have that problem, because if suppose this is being used by this kernel, that means this kernel is handling this user thread, then the other threads can access to the other kernels. That is the disadvantage of this. Sorry, that is the advantage of this model. In many-to-many model, there is no chance of blocking state. Okay, this is about thread scheduling and the concept of threads and multi-threading models. Multi-threading models, you have 3 models: one-to-one model, many-to-one, and many-to-many. In these 3 models, you will be having number of combinations among user threads and also the kernel threads. Okay, thank you.